Thank you for listening to 22 Sides. This is Robin Mack, and today I'm flying solo. I'm here with a special friend of mine, Raye Lynn. She's here to give a little bit of information about herself and just reintroduce herself to some new listeners. So, Raye, how would you introduce yourself? Because we're not on camera, we're just on the mic.
So, that's a really good question.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you introduce yourself?
I'm Raye Lynn, and I've lived in Houston since I was 5 years old. I was actually born in Orange County, California. My father worked for the Naval Corps of Engineers.
Wow.
And by the way, he was the maker of the Polaris missile.
Wow.
That's his name on the patent. I don't know whether I should be proud of that or not, but
I don't know.
anyway.
I don't know. We all come from somewhere.
Right, we do. And Dad got a job at NASA, and so we moved to Houston when I was about 5. And I love my city.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love my city. So as a young person, I kind of hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm. Like a little firecracker.
A little firecracker. You
Yeah.
couldn't get me to be quiet to save my soul. I remember distinctly putting my hands on my hips saying I couldn't wait to be old enough where people would listen to what I had to say.
Ooh, all the sass. Mm-hmm.
But I was back then, they didn't have the labels that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would have said that I had ADD, ADHD, big time.
Right. All this stuff is coming out now. Well, how old are you now, just for reference?
So by the time I was about 7, we realized that I was literally vibrating in my skin most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was 7 years old, I had an opportunity to take a meditation class with the minister of my church.
Wow. Around about what year would this be for the listeners? Because they don't know how old you are.
This is going to be 1968.
Mm-hmm. Now, at that point, was that in Houston or was that?
That was in Houston.
Okay.
That was in Houston. And there were like maybe 5 or 6 of us. And that was a real turning point for me because the tools that I learned from him made a big difference for me in my ability to be still.
Wow.
My ability to listen, and my ability to be able to study and retain information. And so that was a big help for me. And it really got my family moving in that particular direction. My father had MS, multiple sclerosis. And so Mom and Dad, from the meditation class that I took, that led to other things. Edgar Cayce studies. We became involved in the Carmel Center that was located in the Pasadena area, and did all kinds of fun things. We would go and they would have cards with people that have illnesses or things going on, and they would give the name and the birth date and where they were, and we were to close our eyes and see what came up, what we got about that person. And so that really was the start for me in being able to key into what's going on energetically in people's bodies. So because I learned to recognize where something is stagnant and where things are moving.
Wow.
And so that helped me. And then the other thing that we did was they had this projector where they would put a symbol up on a projector, and the person across from me could see the symbol, but I could not.
Okay.
And I had to visualize or guess what the symbol was. And so that was another thing that sort of really helped me. Fast forward a little bit further, and I'm going to bounce back and forth between
let it dance, Raye.
between
Let it dance.
yoga and the other aspects.
You're just bringing the true firecracker nature to it. That's all good.
Okay, so when I was, I guess it was a couple of years later, about 9 or 10, my grandmother liked to take us kids to the zoo. And one time I decided that I wanted to wear this particular pair of shoes that I should not have worn.
Okay.
They were about a size too small for me.
Mm.
And my grandmother took pity on me. We sat down on a bench and sent my other cousins to go look at different things. And she started telling stories about the people walking by.
Ooh, she was one of those. Yeah, I love people who just make up stories about the people that are going. Or was it that she could actually know?
It was that I thought she was making up stories.
She was showing you who she was.
Well, and then she said, okay, it's your turn. So she wanted me to make up stories about the people walking by, and what I realized now, not later on, not then, but what I realized was she was teaching me.
Wow. Wow, it's in the family.
It is. Yeah. My grandmother on my mother's side, as well as my mother, and my grandmother on my father's side were both psychic intuitives. They did different kinds of readings. Wow. When I was 11... I was still having some trouble in school. I could get myself okay for a short period of time, but then I'd spiral out again. So one summer, Mom was having a hard time figuring out where I was during the day. So she signed me up for a yoga class.
Okay.
And when I walked into this yoga class, I'm the only kid with a room full of women, adults.
Probably, yeah.
And I sat down with my arms folded across my chest. You guys can't see me, but I'm doing it.
Little pouty
with
Raye,
this little pouty look on my face,
yeah.
like I don't really want to be here. I did a practice called Tray Talk, where she turned down all the lights and lit a candle and had us all gather around the candle. And the idea is you focus on the candle flame, blinking as little as you can. Not to the point where your eyes are watering, but you get the idea. And you do that for like a minute or so, and then you close your eyes and you'll see an image on the back of your eyelids from that candle flame. And the idea is to hold the flame still. And the tricky part is when you try, it moves. But when you relax and just soft focus and allow it, you can see it and you can find a way, you can figure out a way to get it to be in the center and where you can hold it still. I don't know what happened when we did that, but I walked out of there going, ooh, there's something magical about this.
Nice.
And so I started looking forward to my class and wanting to know what other classes I could take. And that when I went back to school that fall, the teachers called my mom wanting to know what kind of medication she had me on and how much of it was I taking. It was the yoga. And so we both knew that had to be a part of our life from then on out.
Wow.
And, back then it was Richard Heidelman's 28 Days to Yoga or Jane Fonda or Raquel Welch, on audio, right? And so we were really learning by ourselves.
Yeah, the accessibility for that was really low.
And so fast forward. I think it's also important to mention that I had a big life, fast forward. I had a great husband, Kevin Rath, a great musician here in the Houston area. We had a big life. And I got a job at Enron when it was Houston Natural Gas. I worked for Enron for 9 years. And I'm still taking yoga classes through all of this.
That's awesome.
And I'm reading for my friends and for myself. And Mom and I got started doing readings at the Renaissance Festival.
Wow.
Now, that is the only time where I really felt like what I was doing was fortune telling.
Okay, so when you say reading, what is that like?
So a tarot reading.
Okay.
Like literally fortune telling.
Okay.
So I use the cards. I'm going all over the place here.
No,
Rob.
it's fine. I mean, people from Houston know the Texas Renaissance Fair, and that's where they sometimes get their first readings.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had barkers, that
Yeah.
were out there. Come on in.
Come on in. Yeah.
Right?
Don't just eat the turkey leg. Get a tarot card
Right.
reading. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Have your fortune told, me lord.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. Fun.
So I used the cards. We would also do palm readings, but we used the cards just to have a start place for the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Renaissance Festival, it really was about fortune telling. People were coming in. Some were drunk. Some were in a big group of people just having fun, cutting up. And some people were serious and really wanting some information.
Yeah.
So I got a lot. I had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, that was my one experience of being a carny, because we would go and camp out on the weekend. We'd pitch a tent, sleep on the ground, use the public restrooms and showers to get ready. And we were speaking the King's English all weekend.
Yeah.
So during that time, I was working for Enron, and
Enron during the week and Carney during the weekend.
The weekend, and staying up all night at the clubs with my husband playing in a band.
Right.
I mean, it was a big life.
You know what you didn't do? Sleep.
Right. Exactly.
You continued to vibe. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't do much sleeping. But the day came at the Enron that there were two people that were being brought in there towards the end. Can I say their names?
Oh, if you want to.
Mr. Skilling and Mr. Fastow came into the realm. And when Kinley had the big meeting with all of us, introducing those two to us, I looked at the people on either side of me and I said, this is not going to be good.
Yeah. You knew.
I knew.
Yeah. And
not long after that, my father passed away, and they offered a voluntary severance package. Mm-hmm. Now, I mentioned my father passing away because the big hit that I got, aside from the loss of my dear father, was that he spent his whole life saving for a rainy day. Mm. He worked, but he never played. Mm. And my message, or the message that I got from him, was that life is too short to be doing anything that you're not really happy doing.
So true.
So when they offered the voluntary severance package, I went in and said, sign me up, let me be one of the first. I got out in the nick of time. We were only allowed to take a quarter of our stock share and ESOP money every year. Mm-hmm. I was able to get all of my money out before the you-know-what hit the fan.
Wow. I mean,
I was one of the few.
Being present can be priceless. Being intuitive, being in the know of like, hey, this just is not right. Let's take a different direction. How could you have ever known where it went? But you were intuitive in that moment.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Had no idea where that was going.
Yeah.
And so when I left Enron, my mentor at the Yoga Institute, I started taking yoga classes. I found that's where I wanted to go with this.
Sure.
While I was working for Enron before the big event, my mother actually found Lex Gillen at the Yoga Institute in Houston.
All right.
Old location, 2150 Portsmouth Street in the Shepherd Plaza. And we started taking classes with Lex. And that, again, changed my life. And I think that had a lot to do with helping me to be present and be able to trust. Because a lot of us are getting information. Our inner being is guiding us, but we don't trust it.
Right.
And it's not until after the fact that we go, God, I
felt like I knew something.
I got the message and I didn't follow through, or I didn't pay attention, or I didn't, whatever.
Yeah.
But so right after I quit working for Enron, Lex decided that he had taught 20 years.
That's a long
thousands and thousands of classes.
Yeah.
And so he decided he was going to have a teacher training.
Okay.
And Mom and I, and there were others that were in our circle that took that first teacher training with Lex. Some of you may remember Mark Lockhart from the old Yoga Institute. He was in that class as well. it wasn't long after that I finished the teacher training, and I thought, okay, what am I going to do with all of this? Because I really didn't see myself as a yoga teacher, even though I did the teacher training. I did work a little bit for Lex. I answered the phones. I subbed a couple of classes for him. But I decided that I needed to get a real job.
Sure.
So I went back to school. I wanted to be a chiropractor.
Wow.
So I started working on getting all of my prereqs together to go to chiropractic college. And I was on my last semester, my last class. I was at the College of the Mainland in line to sign up for my last prerequisite, and I got a phone call. Now, remember how big our cell phones were back then? Anyway, I got a phone call from Lex, and he said, how would you like to have your own yoga studio? And I looked at my paperwork in my hands. It was a chemistry class that I had left, by the way. I looked at the paperwork in my hands. I thought about it for a minute. I said, when do we start? He said, how about tomorrow? I said, great. I grabbed my paperwork. I got out of line and went back and got in my car and went home. The next day, Lex and I met with Curtis Totter from Pasadena, and he had a space in Pasadena that he wanted us to use for free.
Hey, that's important in the community.
It is important for in the community. And so we started working on that. This is 1993.
Wow.
End of 93, beginning of 94.
Wow.
And so
now I wonder for people who are interested in yoga, but maybe didn't quite understand the Houston vibe at that point. At this point, were there more people that were interested in yoga? Was there more accessibility or not quite yet?
We were the Yoga Institute was the only game in town.
Okay.
We had people coming from Bay City, from Beaumont, from Dallas, from Austin and San Antonio. We were the only game in town, folks.
Okay.
We were one of the oldest, largest existing yoga studios in the country.
Thank you. That's what I thought. And then I also thought that there really wasn't anywhere else to go. There was no competition. There was no, like, at some point Dawn Yoga came about, but, you know, when was that? I don't know, right?
I don't even remember when that came out, and that was like a
totally different style.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And a non-event. But we opened our studio, the second Yoga Institute studio on Strawberry Street in Pasadena, with 85 students signed up and paid in advance.
Wow. Okay, well, how big was that space?
It was 3,000 square feet. Wow. It was a big space.
Because the Yoga Institute,
maybe not 3,000 square feet.
On Shepherd was quite sizable with the one room.
Well, the original studio was probably about 1,500 square feet. I doubled the size when I did the big expansion. That was in 2004.
Okay.
But it wasn't unusual for us to have 60 people in the yoga class. People were literally doing yoga in the bookshop.
Oh my gosh.
The studio in Houston.
The vibe of that many people is just awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
And so when we opened up the studio in Pasadena, I started getting notices on my door from the local churches about us being heathens.
Oh, were you now? Or did they say they thought so?
They thought we were. Yeah. Yes, they. Like, well, who are you? What are you doing here? We don't like what you're doing.
Judgment and labels.
Yeah. And so
did they actually sign who we is?
Oh, they had the name of the church.
No, just the church. Okay.
Just the church, not the person.
Okay.
But it happened a few times enough that I realized that maybe me being a psychic intuitive or card reader might be a conflict of interest. So I kind of put a cap on that. I still did my own stuff, and I still had friends that I read for, but it wasn't anything that I was promoting.
Right.
And we moved from the Pasadena location. Mr. Totter passed away, unfortunately, and we moved from Pasadena to Clear Lake after about a year and a half. So that was 1996, I think. And we were on Upper Bay Road at that point. Now, that location is no longer there. They literally tore it down and put in a parking lot. But we have a new location. I say we, it's not mine. Mm-hmm. It's now Catherine Day's. Mm-hmm. I owned the Clear Lake Yoga Studio, Yoga Institute I started buying Lex out as soon as we moved to the Clear Lake location. So by 1997, I owned the Clear Lake location. And in 1997, Lex asked me to take over the Houston location. Mm. And at first I said no. And then he said, if you don't do it, I'm going to find somebody else to do it. And I'm like, oh no, that's not happening.
Oh no. Well, okay, then I changed my answer.
Yeah. So I took over the Houston location, and we hired Becky Jordan to help manage the Houston location. And shortly thereafter, we also hired Catherine Day to help manage the Clear Lake location.
Wow. So Catherine's been managing it for that long?
Off and on. Catherine had a baby. Mm-hmm. At some point during that. Now, Emma's, I think, 18, so...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? So there was a short period of time where she was big-time mama and focused on family, and so kind of out of the picture, but it wasn't long after Emma started school that Catherine was back in the fold and doing things at the studio and teaching and what have you. And
Becky lived in Houston at that time.
And Becky lived in Houston at that time.
Okay.
And Becky and I became best buddies. And at some point, she and I, this was after the John Friend came into our lives. We created and started a teacher training business called Sacred Art Yoga. Mm-hmm. We needed...
Around what year are we in now?
So I'm going to say this is probably 2000-ish. 2008.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because Kevin was still alive when we started.
Okay.
I lost Kevin in 2009 to lung cancer. And during all of that, Becky was coming to the house and we were writing the manual and getting everything together to prepare. And I think we actually had our first training before he passed.
Wow.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So I had one teacher training business and 2 yoga studios. And that went on until 2016. Mm-hmm. And over the course of that time, not only did I lose my husband, but I lost my favorite aunt and another very dear friend, Janie Bowes Wright, who was also a teacher at the Yoga Institute. We miss you, Janie. Anyway, it's just like all of those losses.
It's a lot.
Started adding up, and the studio business started getting harder. Mm-hmm. I expanded the Houston studio in 2004, doubled the size. Mm-hmm. We were still the only game in town. Mm-hmm. The day the renovation was finished, suddenly there was yoga on every street corner.
Yes, the yoga boom. The yoga boom.
And boys and girls, I want you to know my rent was $9,000 a month.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
And I'd have been okay if we'd have still been the only game in town. But it became a struggle when there was yoga on every street corner. Mm-hmm. But we made it.
Hey. And I think a lot of people have experienced that in their cities, whether it's just Houston or Los Angeles or New York. It does look like there's a yoga place on every corner. And then it's sort of like survival of the fittest at that point, or survival of who can get the loan, or whatever, you know, and or survival of Groupon. Like there were a lot of cultural shifts at that point that were also happening, and then you had a lot of grief at the same time. So that's tough. And then, I mean, when you walk it into that, Houston was also going through a lot of like natural shifts as far as like disasters happening and floods happening and things like this. And so that waxes and wanes on your attendance as well, whether it's Clear Lake or Houston, sometimes both, right? Because Houston, when we get hit through Galveston sometimes.
Right.
So it's like both. I imagine it's a double whammy on the bottom line, right?
Right.
But it sounds like you had really strong solidarity ties with the people that were helping you, Becky and fellow teachers, fellow students, and you kept going business wise to some extent a bit after that, actually.
Oh yeah, I had 17 teachers between the two studios.
Yeah.
Some days it was like herding cats.
And we all know how hard that is. Yeah.
But you know, being a studio owner was one of the greatest gifts. Those were really fun and exciting times for us. The John Friend scene back then was very exciting. There were big workshops, big events, big retreats.
There were music tours.
I met Krishna Das. I had Krishna Das come to the Yoga Institute in Houston more than once. Dave Stringer, Benji and Heather Wertheimer, Shantala came. Wah came and played at the studio. I mean, like, we really were blessed with some great people.
I have goosebumps. When you threw a party, it was at capacity.
Yes. Yes. We had over 400 people in the studio for a Krishna Das event.
Talk about the energy of that place.
Yes. It was incredible. And the caliber of teachers that I was able to experience and bring to the Houston community was really big. And you know, I've sold the studios. Unfortunately, the Houston location is no longer in existence. I still see a number of the teachers and students, and I love them and miss them dearly. And I'm so sorry that that's the way that it went down. I'm grateful, so grateful for Catherine and the Yoga Institute in Clear Lake. We've got a brand new studio. Well, it's not brand new anymore, but it's a few years old, but it's beautiful, incredibly beautiful studio down in Clear Lake, and similar teaching style, and beliefs behind, you know, and it's all about the community and what can we do to elevate the community. And for those of you that don't know about yoga, I think the first thing that people realize when they start doing yoga is body awareness. Some of us were naturally gifted with body awareness. We came into the world with body awareness. And by body awareness, I mean, you know, you can feel what's going on in your body and when something isn't right and when something is, right? You have that level of awareness, and, you know, them bones connect to the other bones, right? That kind of thing. But there are a large number of people that really don't have any body awareness. In fact, they're really not inhabiting their body. Right. And so one of the first things people get in the yoga is, wow, I have a body. Yeah. And if I do this here, it makes a difference there. Yeah. And if I'm breathing and I'm moving and I'm stretching my body in every possible direction almost every day.
It's like big eyes, like a whole new experience.
It's a whole new, it's a whole new game, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And still to this day, even though we're in 2025, we're about to end this year, and there are people that have never considered stretching. They don't know the benefits. They think their body is just the way their body is. And they think their breath is just the way that their breath is. And even though yoga, I would say, is now the most accessible it's ever been, you know, we can live stream into India classes if we wanted to, right? Like that's That's amazing. That's
Right.
huge.
Yeah.
And you have brought in a lot of teachers and a lot of music guides, and had so many different workshops and taught so many different people, and had people become teachers under your guidance, with your guidance, to be themselves, not to be a doppelganger, but to go out into the world and highlight therapeutics first, so people are taken care of. And I think you've always stayed really true to Hatha, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, the ripples are quite endless. You'll never know the reach of that. Do you get to hear where some of that goes? I mean, have you gotten to soak that in a little bit, or?
Some. I mean, I look at people like you and I see how much of an impact you make in this community. And that makes me feel really good, because I had a tiny bit of influence in that. And the rest of it was all you.
Yes.
And I just encouraged it and gave you
Yes.
the opportunity.
You really did, over and over and over again. Like I would not have been able to participate in yoga classes because I couldn't afford it. And I worked across the street from the Yoga Institute on Shepherd and Farnham. And quite honestly, I just had this awareness that some of our best customers were coming from your classes. And, they were like, had the yoga buzz, and they were really nice. And those are the people I wanted to be around, but I didn't really know where they were coming from. And so once I started, asking them and getting to know them, I thought, I don't know, maybe I'll do yoga. And similarly, I was at a college, I was in college myself, trying to become a physical therapist assistant. I ended up being a massage therapist, but I had to get a PE requirement, of all things. And I did athletics way too much before I got to college. I ended up having to have a shoulder surgery. And so to get to college and need another weird requirement, I thought, fine. And my options were yoga or swimming. And I thought, well, I'm not going to smell like chlorine all day, because I had to go take a bunch of classes through the rest of the day. So I took yoga, and the lady there did really impress me, and not just having me feel my body for the first time in a really new way. I could lift my body weight without having to lift weights. I could lift my body weight without having to lose weight.
Yes.
I was baffled. Like, whoa, what? I was a top heavy weightlifter of my senior class, and I could never do like a pull up or anything like that. But in yoga, I could immediately get guided into a plank, get guided into push-ups in a way I've never done it, get guided into handstands, and I thought, I really want to continue this. And when I looked at the prices, it was quite expensive for me at the time. And then I had mentioned to you I was saving up to get to classes, and you said, throw me a pound of coffee and get your ass on the mat. And that was my Starbucks mark out, and I thought, wow, how cool. So in the true tradition of yoga, like, you donated it to me, and I continue to teach donated classes because of that, and make it allow it to be accessible for people. And I just only thought the only way I want to become a teacher is to do your teacher training. And that was through you and Becky. And actually what would have been my first class was Kevin's funeral, and you so generously invited people to that funeral. And I never met Kevin in person, but I felt like I met him by going to the funeral to support you. And, Becky and someone else, maybe Catherine, I'm not sure, because I don't know everyone, but I was told, if your teacher invites you, you go. And I went, and for the first time ever, I saw you, as the strongest person I had known in class, not be able to stand. And they held you. And I thought, I don't know if I'm going to have people to hold me when I can't stand. But I want to learn how to be that humble. I want to learn how to go through those times. And I did get to know Becky in the training, because you were grieving and managing things for Kevin and whatnot. And you said, sometimes we're not supposed to be on the mat. Sometimes that's not the time, right? And if people have not tried yoga for whatever reason, if they have not tried meditation for whatever reason, it's okay. Maybe it's not your tool. But maybe there's a season or a teacher or an expression that is. So don't completely cancel it out because it's such a big thing.
Yeah.
They have yoga for vets with post-traumatic stress. They have yoga where you just rest and it's not even cardio or very Americanized. They have yoga that is just literally all about the breath practice. And one of the things that I noticed from the first day on my mat to today that I'm so thankful for is you don't ever have to fall out of love with yoga, because we could literally do yoga until our last breath if we're consciously dying, It's amazing to me because being an athlete, I miss some of the things that I fell in love with. My body isn't going to do the things all the time forever that I love to do, but I tell people use yoga to continue to do the things that you love, right? The stretches that you like will help you be a runner, will help you be a weightlifter, will help you do whatever, will help you just laugh better. There's laughter yoga. Like, that's amazing. We can all use some laughter. And so it was the only game in town. It was a game that was close to me, but what really kept me there, Ray, was the welcoming vibe that you and your students always gave. And I too, when I ended up going, was, significantly younger than most people there. And I had to have a shoulder surgery, so I was significantly upset in my body, not being able to do the things I wanted to do, and then having to do this thing called yoga, so I came in with a similar pouty face as you did to your first class. So if you're going to yoga and you're pouting and you're not, like just there looking like the posters or the marketing, that's okay. Just stay, just stay. And most of my students could care less about anything that they would think yoga is because of over marketing issues, but they want the benefits. Mm-hmm. They're like, I don't know that I want tight clothes, or I don't have a click, or I don't know if I can ever move like most people, but I just need to be able to put on my shoes. I just need to be able to balance and not fall. I just need to be able to remain in my independence as long as I can. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, great, we can support that. Yeah. Right. And time again, my classes, my students have, and I thank you for that, because I learned it from you. I learned it from focusing therapeutics first, not over aerobicizing, aerobics or whatever,
Well, and we've all done the gamut, right? Like I've definitely done the yoga aerobics. I've definitely done the Ashtanga hot yoga thing. I've done just the stretches, and I've done the yin. I've found that for me, balance is key. Mm-hmm. So not all one or the other. The thing of it is, the yoga will always meet you right where you are.
Yes.
And if you can get over the fact that you don't look the same when you're 50 as you did when you were 30, and right? Who does? So what? Let go of the things that are no longer serving you, and embrace the things that are. The yoga is movement, breathing, stretching, exercise, meditation, relaxation, concentration. Did I say breath? Definitely breath.
Yeah. Sometimes chanting.
And sometimes chanting. Right. That's right. Sometimes chanting. We love the chanting. I love the chanting because it's all vibrational, right? And it's all frequency. And so all of it feeds the whole. And the whole reason for the practice is for us to be able to be in the middle, to be able to be wherever we are, even Grand Central Station on Friday night at midnight, to be wherever you are and be okay.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I've met so many people who say, I just don't feel safe in my own skin. And I don't know why humans say that. I've had those similar feelings, but it's a serious saying, and I think yoga for me has allowed for me to find that centering, allowed for me to come back to who this is right now in this moment and in this alignment. And I think to be fair, if you're ever just curious about this, like, we are all always just truing ourselves up to who we are in this moment over and over and over again, right? Like, we're all aging, we're all changing all the time. So it's like a new invitation, which yoga allows for me to explore some of the things that don't really feel good. And then they allow for me to get to some of the things that feel like what you would say, Ray, is yummy, and, Ray in class would say, find the yummy, smile, damn it. I mean, like, it was actually, it can be intense, but we found the laughter, it can be intense, but we found the alignment together. And what I love from the students to the teachers is we all had a similar sentiment about that. And I've ran into some teachers along the way, long after the institute has closed, and we just share a moment, and it's a beautiful moment. And then when you come in and teach, and when I'm able to go to a class, it's like a reunion, and then, like, that's a beautiful thing. It really is. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. The yoga teaches us to be where we are, and it really is an invitation to befriend the one person who is with you literally from the moment that you were conceived until the moment you take your last breath, and still that's who you are, right? Like, so the yoga really gives us an opportunity to experience ourselves as embodied beings.
Yes. Yes.
And to experience this quality of, even though the world feels very chaotic and very uncertain, and a number of people comment on not feeling safe in their own skin, not being at peace in their own skin, not feeling comfortable with themselves in their own skin, that I find is one of the biggest causes for suicide and addictions and all kinds of nasty things happening to people's in their lives. And it's because we've never been asked to take the time to get to know ourselves.
Right. And there are so many ways we can numb out and disassociate away from that, for sure.
Exactly.
And it is, and with that, I will say that if you feel uncomfortable exploring that by yourself, that's okay. Start with friends, start with practitioners that you trust, start with doing it in public, maybe doing it, it could be a tough thing in your own head. You can be kind of your own worst enemy sometimes. And then, just like practically speaking, because now there's all these videos and apps and whatnot, it's really hard to watch an app and do something where you're trying to maintain balance and look at an app and not hurt yourself. So, like, even if you're a really confident person, you're just taking it to the next level and you don't have any extra time and you're doing this at like midnight or 5 a.m, it's okay. Like, start with what is accessible to you, go slow, do what you can and skip the rest. Don't hurt yourself. Like, keep looking for the right thing is what I want to say, because, sometimes sitting with yourself or doing it yourself is just like not the right match. Well, sometimes it can be a beautiful match.
And here's the thing. If it's new to you, go take a class. And I say go take a class rather than turning on a video. Take a class because the teacher can see you.
Yes.
The teacher is looking at what you're doing and how you're moving. And they can give you some guidance, and in some cases literally help you with your alignment, because I'll tell
modifications.
You, when you are in alignment with you, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, when you're in alignment with you, things are easy. When you're not in alignment, things are hard. You can take the most difficult yoga pose, and if you're in good alignment, it's effortless.
And I think the key point there you said was in alignment with you, not the rest of the class.
Right.
And finding the pose for you, and a true teacher can help you find that. Start with good reviews. Start with something accessible towards yourself. Also, feel free to go early and actually talk to the teacher if you have any health issues, body issues, you've had any injuries in the past, things like this, because they can help you maybe steer yourself away from some poses that you shouldn't do yet, or give a little extra help because they know you're new to it, and props, and help you actually get there. So there's a lot of things that can be done in person if you communicate with the practitioner.
And it's also okay to pop an email or pick up the phone and call and say, I just want to have a conversation, so that I feel more comfortable
before
about
you even
what
go.
we're doing. And I'm also going to say, I have a very strong opinion about this. If you're new to yoga or a particular kind of yoga, take a beginner class.
Yes.
Take a beginner class, and if they don't offer a beginner class, find somebody who does.
Yes.
It's important.
Start from foundations to build up. Yes, you gotta root down to rise up.
That's right.
You gotta learn the basics to get to the advanced.
That's right.
For sure. Even if you're, I've been guilty of this. I'm like, I'm hypermobile and my schedule only allows for the advanced class. I'm gonna go. Well, you know what? That's hard. It's harder than hard. It's not advised.
It's not advised, and it really puts you, if you're doing that, it puts you in a disadvantage, and it could be risky.
Yes.
Because how many people, raise your hands, have started an exercise program, and 2 weeks into it you've got an injury and you have to quit?
Yes.
How many times?
Yes.
How many?
Just so many people in most January occasions.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, it took you this long to get however you are.
Yes.
It's going to take longer than a week.
Yes.
To make it different.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It takes a little while.
And it's worth it. And you might feel benefits that you weren't even in it for. Like a lot of times I hear from my students, wow, I didn't know I was holding my breath.
Yeah.
Or, wow, is it me or am I taller? I feel taller. Spinal decompression can happen in one class. And, or, woo, my feet are sore. What's that about? It's like, oh, you use the muscles in ways that you don't use in your shoes, which will help with your balance, but we got to go slow.
Right.
And so those are some things you can expect, relatively soon in your practice probably, but there's a whole lot more, like good sleep. It definitely helps with sleep.
Definitely helps with sleep. It definitely helps with the mental chatter. I think that yoga and meditation teaches us to be more discerning about where we let our minds go and how long we let our minds hang out somewhere. It has totally changed my life, and it's changed the lives of so many people that I know. I'm going to go back and mention Janie Bowes once again, because Robin mentioned that it's something that you can do right up until you breathe your last breath. I was with Janie right before she died, and she was doing Ujjayi breathing.
Nice. Yeah.
Until she wasn't breathing anymore.
It's a beautiful thing.
It was so beautiful, and it was so peaceful.
Yeah.
So peaceful. And I think that's the other thing that I want to say. If you're looking for peace, try yoga. Meditation, people have a weird concept about meditation, I think. People come to me and say, well, I've tried it, but I just can't do it. I can't figure out how to get my mind to stop. I can't sit still like that. There's a method to the madness. You cannot just sit down and close your eyes and expect your mind to stop and get quiet. It doesn't work like that.
Right. We're not wired that way.
We're not wired that way.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why some people have such a hard time going to sleep. You don't know how to go to sleep. And you don't know how to relax. You don't know how. The mind is not, the only time your mind stops is when you're sleeping. And sometimes my mind is still going after I've fallen asleep, but at least it seems that way. But the only way that you're able to fall asleep is that you're able to drop down beneath the thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the key to meditation. You're not trying to stop the mind. You're just trying to drop down beneath the thoughts.
Nice.
So if you think about meditation in the sense of start by becoming aware of where you are, be aware of what you can see, and then close your eyes, be aware of what you can hear.
Safely, in a safe space.
And yeah, like don't do this in your car, folks.
Yeah.
Please do not do this while you're driving or while you're walking.
Yeah.
When you're sitting, when you're in a safe place, you're going to sit somewhere and just give yourself a little time, 5-10 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything big.
Yeah.
And let yourself start by acknowledging your surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
what you can see, what you can hear. Closing your eyes, that gives you a clearer perception of what you can feel and what you can hear.
Mm-hmm.
You can start to notice the texture of the fabric against your skin, the coolness of the air on your skin. And so you work from outside in.
Mm-hmm.
So then you start to feel yourself breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Just feeling yourself breathe, just being aware that you're breathing in and breathing out, that changes everything.
Yep.
Everything. So you become aware of breathing, become aware of breathing in and breathing out, and then you follow your breath inside, inside of yourself. I like in meditation, like going underwater, being at the beach. Let's say being at the beach.
Okay.
On the surface, there are waves.
Yeah.
Waves of sound, waves of thought, waves of memory, plans, dreams, notes, lists, all of that stuff, all happening on the surface. It's really loud inside of our heads. It really is.
Yeah.
It's really loud in our world.
Yeah.
But if you drop beneath the waves, things begin to get quieter. And the further down into the depths of the ocean you go, the quieter and the stiller it becomes. You can literally lay on the bottom of the ocean floor, maybe not in Galveston, maybe on a good day in Galveston.
I mean, this is in your mind. Pick
in
the
your
best
mind,
beach
right,
in your mind.
Right.
Yeah.
In your mind, you can literally be on the ocean floor and looking up, and you can see the sun coming through the water, and you can still see the waves crashing on the surface. But you're in this quiet, barely shifting, very barely moving space, and you're just aware of breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Just that. That level of slowing down helps us to eliminate the hurrier or the waiting until the last minute to walk out the door. So I'm anxious when I get on the road person. You will start to notice as you begin to do a practice like yoga or meditation that you are different.
You are you.
You are you, and you're not reacting to the onslaught of everything that's happening around you.
It's a beautiful thing.
You're contained and at peace in your own skin, and that means that you're going to be kinder.
Mm-hmm. And more aware.
And more aware.
Differently aware. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we want to eliminate road rage,
oh yeah,
yoga and meditation.
Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
And there are all kinds of yoga.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could spend a lifetime studying and working with different breathing practices, different pranayama techniques.
Yes.
You could spend a lifetime doing things like meditation and bhakti yoga, which is the devotion or the chanting. You could spend a lifetime just exploring the physical the physical aspects of asana. I mean, there's so many different avenues that you can go.
Yeah.
And
Yoga Nidra is one of them, right?
And Yoga Nidra is the yoga, it's called the yogic sleep. And it is the most sublime, rejuvenating, clarifying, clearing practice I have ever done.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, the Yoga Nidra takes you to that place where you're right between waking and sleeping. When you're in that space, you are closest to oneness. And when I say oneness, I mean oneness with the divine, oneness with source, oneness as in you are a drop in the ocean and you're the ocean. You're not just a drop, but you're also the ocean. And when you're in this space, because you're right between waking and sleeping, you've been able to disidentify with your physical body, with all the thoughts running around in your head and all of the to-dos and all of the chaos in your life. You're able to disidentify and drop back away from all of that, right? And in this space, there's no conflict. So anything that is any sort of in the yoga nidra is done lying comfortably on the floor. We use a lot of props so that you don't get cranky being on the floor. Ideally you're on the floor, but if you've got to be in the bed or on the couch, be on the bed or the recliner or the couch, wherever you can be. The idea is you get your body into a comfortable position so you're not fidgeting and you're not anxious, you're not, constantly adjusting. You really want to take the time to be comfortable. And then the Yoga Nidra is a guided process. So I literally talk you from being animated and physical to dropping back and beginning to disidentify with all of the things that we identify with. And into that place where you're right between, in the deepest part of the Yoga Nidra, where you're in that place right between waking and sleeping or waking and dreaming. And in that place, there's no conflict. Right? So that's the perfect time to reset your hard drive. If there are old beliefs, old habits, old patterns, things that are triggering you that you would like to shift, you can create a very powerful integrative intention about that we then at the deepest parts of the Yoga Nidra give you an opportunity to say that intention for yourself. Or if I'm doing a private with you and we've worked together on your intention, then I say it for you so that you're just receiving it. This is one of the most life-changing practices that I have ever done. I have a client that was really going through a very difficult time and having a difficult time settling in himself. This is someone who went from living in his car to living in a 5x7 office with no windows. And I started teaching him meditation and then gave him a Yoga Nidra on tape that he started playing for himself every day. 21 days into it, you wouldn't even recognize the sound of his voice, let alone the expression on his face. And he told me, "Thank you. This has totally changed my life. I have never felt this at peace and at ease in my own skin ever in my whole life."
So if somebody wanted to work with you after hearing this, how would they get in contact with you?
So the best way to get in contact with me is to email me. That's
Okay.
the fastest, easiest route. My email address is awakeningpresence,
Mm-hmm.
AWAKENINGPRESENCE and that's RAYE @gmail.com. And if you'll put in the subject line yoga nidra or meditation or yoga or a reading, whatever it is that you're interested in, that'll give me a clue. And or you can also put podcast
Yeah.
somewhere on
Hey.
there, so I know that
Yeah.
that you're calling
That's where it's
because you
coming
heard
from.
right, that this
That
is
makes
where
sense.
you're coming from. And then also, I am in town once a month, the first Saturday of every month. I am doing readings at Body, Mind, and Soul Books in Houston. That's over off of I-10. You can schedule an appointment with me at Body, Mind, and Soul for the first Saturday of the month. Tomorrow is the first Saturday, by the way. You can schedule an appointment with me by going to bmshouston.com. And if you'll look at the options, there's an option for readers, and I'm on there. You can find me there and schedule an appointment there. You can also email me for an appointment, and we can schedule an appointment anytime, because this is what I do now. I'm doing readings.
You
I'm
do it
teaching.
virtually.
But I'm doing it virtually because, by the way, and I didn't mention this, in 2017, I met my now husband, Denis Rondeau, who I love very much. And
she's like mushy. She's mushy for Denis.
yes, he's my sweetie pie. Interestingly enough, we met at the Yoga Nidra training that I took in Florida, a place that I thought I never wanted to go.
And there you were, blissed out.
And there I was, blissed out. So let me just say this quickly. I came from Houston to the training in Florida. Denis came from Canada.
Wow.
And he wasn't taking the training. He was actually supporting my roommates that I was doing the training with. They had a son at home that he was helping with, and he showed up the second to the last day of the retreat, or the training rather, and we went for a walk. All four, my two roommates and Denis and I went for a walk, and they disappeared. The world disappeared. Everything disappeared except me and Denis.
Wow.
And we had 36 hours before we both went home. I hadn't even made it to the airport, made it to the plane yet, and he had already called me and left me a message. So we messaged back and forth. He came to visit for Christmas.
Don't ever give up on love.
Right? Don't ever give up on love, because you know what, you guys?
You never know.
You never know. My friends kept saying, you need to get on the dating app.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not interested in the dating app. Well, you won't date a student. You won't date a fellow teacher. How the heck do you think you're going to meet anybody? What do you think? They're just going to walk up and knock on their door?
Well, actually, yes. I'm going to take a random walk, and then I'm going to meet the love of my next part of my life.
Right. Exactly. I said it could happen.
Because I'm Raye Lynn Rath. So
That's right. That's right. And by the way, the first person I dated did actually walk up onto my front porch and knock on my door.
There you go.
He did. He was there to help me design some landscaping, but one thing led to another, and that was the first guy that I dated. But anyway, Denis and I met in Florida.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes they come to you. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Get to know you. Anyway, so Denis and I met in Florida. We both went home. We talked on the phone literally every day, sometimes all day.
Hey,
it was crazy.
That's when you know you love them.
It was crazy.
You're like, I might need a new phone plan.
So we did this. Oh my God. What time of year was that? It had to have been in the fall. It was in the fall, because then he came to visit for 2 weeks right after Christmas. And when he left, everybody cried. Me, Denis, my dog, everybody cried. And within about a week and a half, he was in his car driving back to Houston.
Yeah.
We were married 3 months later.
Wow.
And
Love can be a solution and a problem.
Right. Right. And that was happening all about the same time I was selling the studios.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
sold the Clear Lake studio in 2018. And right after that, well, I should also say I had to have hip surgery and all of that, but maybe not. Maybe I don't need to say that.
Well, that's okay. Whatever. He did. Yeah.
But Denis and I took a trip to see my mom, who who lives in Palestine, and something happened. I don't even know what happened. We went in the backyard, and I started looking around, and I thought, and I said out loud, you know, I could live here.
Mm-hmm.
Went in the house and said to Mom, you know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I could live here. And she looked at me big-eyed, and she said, well, you know, the people that live across the street are fixing to put their property on the market.
Intuition again.
Intuition again.
Yep.
Anyway, fast forward. We bought that house in Palestine, and I'm living in Palestine now with Denis across the street from my mom. We live in the piney woods and what I call the East Texas Hill Country. And it's incredibly beautiful. I love being in the country. I love being able to look up at the night sky and actually see the stars.
Wow. Yeah.
And
that's nice.
And I live in a place where I don't have to put any curtains on my windows.
That's nice. That's nice.
That, you know, I have that much that much space that people can't see in. So I love it there. And I love what I'm doing. So I'm coming here. That's where I was going with this. I'm coming to Houston once a month. The first Saturday of the month, I'm at Body, Mind, and Soul. And then the Sunday after the Saturday, I'm doing readings. I'm teaching something. I'm either teaching at Body, Mind, and Soul, or I'm teaching at the Yoga Institute Clear Lake, which is what I'm doing this weekend. I'm teaching at the Yoga Institute Clear Lake on Sunday, and it's a yoga nidra and a holiday restorative yoga, which is yummy.
That you're famous for.
And then the double yummy is the yoga nidra, and the triple yummy is that my friend Farida Magwed, who is also an incredible yogi and yoga teacher, and she's an incredible musician in her own right, and she's got these beautiful alchemy sound bowls.
Wow.
So she's playing the alchemy sound bowls through the restorative yoga and the yoga nidra, and I guarantee you, you will be blissed out.
Nice.
And you'll feel the effects for several days. And so to do the yoga nidra, you can go to yogainstituteclearlake.com and look at the workshops / workshops. And it's right there on that page. Or you can call 281-333-1646. Did I give the number for Body, Mind, and Soul? I know I gave the website. So website for Body, Mind, and Soul, bmshouston.com. The phone number 713-993-0550. And the Yoga Institute Clear Lake.com or 281-333-1646. And if all else fails, email me awakeningpresence.ray@gmail.com.
Yes. So they have virtual options if they're just willing to reach out to you and create a personal plan. And then they have 2 places where they can be in person, one for tarot reading and then one for the yoga practice. And, you know, it's you know, you can dip your toe in whatever part speaks to you, basically. And Raye can help you find what works best if you just reach out to her first. And if you happen to call these places, everybody knows Raye. Everybody knows, you know, what her next offerings are, so they can remind you of that as well.
And if you want to be on my mailing list so that you know where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing in advance, you can also email me and put in the subject line newsletter.
Yeah, perfect.
And I can definitely do that. Can I talk a little bit about the readings?
Yeah, I think you should maybe just sort of let people know what to expect with that.
Yeah. So whether you make an appointment with me virtually or whether you're making an appointment to see me in person, I also do phone readings, by the way.
Okay.
And it doesn't, here's the thing, it doesn't make any difference as far as my ability to pick up on you and
That's
read
good to
for
know.
you, whether we're in person or on Zoom or on the phone. We connect energetically, we connect heart to heart, and that's all that's needed. Time and space makes no difference whatsoever. And so generally what I do is I start by having you choose a card to represent you for that day. And I do this with the cards face down. There's 4 queens and 4 kings. And I put the either 4 queens or 4 kings face down for you to choose. And if you're not there, I'll say pick a number between 1 and 4. And then I'll flip it over, and that gives me a real good indication of what's going on for you energetically, what's going on around you, what do you need to be aware of, who can you call on or what can you call on for support, where are your advantages, and what are your disadvantages, just off of that one card. Just off of that one card. And then while I'm shuffling the cards, I'm calling in our angels and guides, the mystics and sages and holy ones, angels, Father, Mother, God, and just asking that they speak through me to you in a way that makes sense to you and that really gives you the guidance, information, inspiration, help, hope, support, whatever it is that you need for your greatest joy and your highest good. And then the first spread, I'm usually asking, what do they want you to know? And I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.8 times out of 10, whatever it was that you were hoping to get comes out in that first spread.
And they're able to take notes. Are they able to
You can
record it? Or
record.
okay.
Yes, you can take notes. You can record. If we're doing Zoom, please ask me to record because I don't always remember. But we can absolutely
Help each other
record
out.
it for you. Yeah, we can absolutely get it recorded for you. And then if you've got a particular area or a specific question that you want to ask about, you'll have an opportunity to do that. The reason that I do these readings is because I find that it's so helpful to know what the weather patterns are. Just like you look at the weather to know, do I need to wear a jacket? Do I need my umbrella? Is it going to be hot today? Like, what do I need to know? This is going to give you that kind of information. What do I need to know? What's the bigger weather pattern? Like, so here's this. There's the bigger weather pattern, things that affect the whole planet or the entire country, or a particular organization or group. And then there's weather patterns that are specific to you. And those are things that we get into. I'm not interested in beating the drum about what's wrong. You already know that. You don't need me to tell you that. But what I am interested in is, where is your leg up? Where are the opportunities? Where's the opening? Like, it's really important that we pay attention to where and what are the doors and windows that are opening and where and what are the doors and windows that are closing. And the tarot and a reading with me will give you a good indication of that. The tarot, the cards themselves are just a place to start. You know, it's a storyline. It's a way to start the conversation. And it can give guidance as to when we ask a different question, how does that shift? What other things are pulled in when we move into a different area of your life? What do you need to know? My goal is for you to walk out or walk away from a reading with me feeling like your feet are on the ground, your head is clearer, your heart is open, your hands are open, you're not clenching your fists, your shoulders are more relaxed, your belly is more relaxed, and you have an idea of the direction that you're going and what to look for and what to ask for.
And about how long would you say these readings generally take?
So I most readings are either 30 minutes or an hour. Bigger things, when there's bigger stuff going on, it can take an hour and a half. I've had them take as long as 2 hours.
Sure.
Just because the person has a lot that they're really going through and looking at. A lot of us have big things happening right now. Sometimes the big things take a little longer.
Sure.
But it's also about your time. How much time do you have? It's also about the dollars and the cents.
Sure.
I will say that as a general rule, I don't turn people away because they don't have the money. But I also know that what people pay for, they value.
And you need money too.
And I need, and this is what I do.
That's just what happens.
This is what I do. I'm not independently wealthy.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. You have a light bill as well.
This is how I make my living.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're generous, but it is important. And I want to say, like, I've gotten more than one reading from you. I think two, if I'm right, but would you say that sometimes readings last a really long time, or like maybe you only need one depending on what the person's going through? Or would you say a lot of people come regularly? Like, I wonder if I was new to this. Personally, I come situationally, like if I am looking for guidance during a particular season, and I've always valued the fact that absolutely what you're saying, you're a very positive reader. It's not a lot of doom and gloom, even if that's what you're going through in your life. I was going through a major grief crisis when I lost my sister, and the reading was all gold. It was like all very like, hey, let's, like, exactly what you're saying. Let's look at what you have working for you. And when I couldn't see that, you could see that for me and put me in that direction. Some of those words, those sentiments, the guidance sticks with me years later, and then sometimes it is very situational. So it kind of times out, like, hey, take this opportunity, not this opportunity, that sort of thing. What would you say, like, the regularity is for people on readings?
So some people come once a year. Either at the first of the new year
that makes sense,
or around their birthday.
Yeah.
Some people come once a quarter.
Okay.
As the seasons change, right?
Yeah.
And some people want something more often than that. They want to come once a month.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I have a couple of clients that it's every 2 weeks. And I have one client that it's every week.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And there was a period of time where it was almost every day for a little while because things just were that difficult. And, he needed somebody to hold his hand. So I did that. And so it depends. Now, I will say this. If I recognize that you're obsessing about something or someone, and you're continuously coming back and asking me the same question about the same thing, hoping that I'm going to give you a different answer, I'll say, okay.
Hey, yeah, we got to look at this.
We got to look at this.
Yeah.
And I think that getting a reading every other day or every week right now for you is too much.
Good for you.
I don't want you to lean on me that much.
That's wonderful.
I want you to be, that's why I'm doing this, is so that you can stand on your own 2 feet, not so that you're dependent on me. No, it's great.
That's great. I can see that even in your teaching. It's like you wanted people to be very independent, not dependent, and have their own autonomy. And it's great to know that people aren't being taken advantage of, or they're left with tools to stand on their own feet. And I'm sure, every field has representation that's not very honoring of their field in movies and things like this. And so it's just really good to get a full vision of what should people expect, and you've always been a person of integrity, a person who's taken many wonderful, ambitious things on, like the Institute, and to have that be offered through reading, I think is a beautiful expression, because some people do need that guidance. And like you said, the cards are one tool that can get you there. And I've definitely come to you for, some business advice or coaching or, like direction, because sometimes we go through non-traditional paths, and you have had that corporate path, that non-corporate path, and you don't bring judgment to the table, and you just keep a really open mind for the individual that's in front of you. You hold a very generous space that is hard to find these days. You don't make it about you. You make it about, here's the facilitation. And I just appreciate the amount of efforting and work that takes to do for people, because it's not easy.
It's one of my gifts, is to hold space for people. That's why the Yoga Institute worked so well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my gifts is also that I can, without being intrusive, I can feel into what's going on for people. And so I was reading the room.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. and when I was doing one-on-one stuff, even in the yoga, information comes through, and I don't, I just say it. And people don't know that that's what I'm doing, but that's what I've always done. And
that's awesome.
It's
really unique. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love about teaching in person a yoga class is that I can actually sit in one spot in the room and watch and feel the whole room breathing and moving together.
Yes, I love that.
And as people are moving, I can sort of feel where they're getting stuck, feel where they're more open.
Yes.
And that's, it's the same with the reading.
It's amazing.
And so it's just
yeah.
I love being able to hold space for people. And you mentioned when at the funeral service for my late husband Kevin,
mm-hmm.
I had a really hard time asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
That broke me. It broke me.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you knew this, but I didn't teach for almost a year after I lost Kevin.
I observed it.
And I had a number of the teachers that picked up the ball and kept things going for me. And people like Janie that showed up at my house every other weekend and took me to the water and, fed me and pumped me up. And I started learning that we're all in this together.
Yes.
And none of us have to do it all by ourselves.
Yes.
And just because you can doesn't mean you should. Because people benefit when you ask them for help.
They do. They do, when you let them in, when you allow them to contribute. There are a lot of people out there that would contribute in so many different ways if people would allow it. And I know that it is hard to ask. It is hard to make yourself vulnerable to do that. And you've always said that yoga brings, just very different people together. And so if what you have in common is yoga, or, your Pilates class or whatever, it doesn't have to be just yoga, but if you're encouraged in any way to start to get out and meet new people, new groups, things like this, go at the pace of trust, and it's amazing how people will show up for you. It really is baffling. It really is. And sometimes you have your emergency friends, and sometimes you have your movie friends, and sometimes you have your, like, I'll meet you on the mat wherever you are friends, it just depends, and I hope that people have a variety around them, because sometimes it takes that, right? And if you don't have it immediately right now, it's okay. Sometimes it comes when it's needed.
Right. And like lovers, communities show up for you. Love shows up when you're enjoying yourself, when you're feeling good, when you're having fun. So if you're looking for new relationships, go do things that you enjoy doing.
That you enjoy doing.
Thank you.
You know, not what looks good, not where you can meet that person, not where whatever. And like you said, sometimes it's just being open to taking a walk with your friends, you know, your friends that brought somebody. You know, I think statistically people still meet people through trusted friends, but you have to show up, you have to go. And it's a few things, but even if nothing avails itself, you're doing something you like, and that's a beautiful thing. So thank you for taking care in this season. Thank you for being in the conversation with us. And Ray, I'm endlessly grateful for you and your offerings. I really, really am. And I hope that these tracks and these offerings, however it is through 22 Sides or maybe some new tech or something, can offer reunions with the people who have been afar from you but still love you, right? And then some new friends, right? Because you're so welcoming, you know, like it's really, really beautiful. And I love that you can see people in person or do virtual offerings for them. So, you know, I appreciate you clicking play. I appreciate you having us between your ears, and wherever you are on your path, just keep taking care, and may you find the yummy, and may you smile, damn it. And thank you for subscribing or leaving a review or even supporting the podcast if that's what you're called to do. And if not, sharing this with a friend may be just what they need to hear. So thank you for sharing it as well. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, everybody. Be well.
Hey, 22 Side listeners, I have something special for you today. I stopped in for a cup of coffee and I ran into a pal, Margot. She's a cool cat that I've known of in the art spaces for a few years, and we are looking forward to her next show. Margot, do you want to introduce yourself to the listeners if they've never met you before?
My name is Margot Stutz-Toombs, and I call myself an internal humorist because I make people laugh on the inside. At least that's what I tell myself if people don't laugh at my humor. And I like to write monologues and perform and make videos, just anything to be creative and to entertain myself.
Love it. And if people are looking for your art or to get to know you more, do you have a website they can research you at?
Yes, my website is Margot Stutz Toombs.
Can you spell it?
Yes. So Margot, MargotStuttoombs.
All right. And you have an upcoming show at the Aurora Chapel in December.
Right. December 21st at 2:30 p.m. And the Aurora Chapel is at 800 Aurora Street.
Wonderful.
And we're having a video screening of the live show we did in August. And it's called the Organic Variety Show. And it's an odd show, kind of a variety show about my deteriorating organs. So we have stories, we have audience games, we have videos, a little singing, a little dancing. So it's a little something for everyone, I think.
Perfect. And is there a fee to get in? A little like door fee or to see the show?
No, there's no fee.
Okay.
We'll have free popcorn and bottles of water.
Nice.
So
very
it's
accessible.
a party.
I love the Aurora Chapel. It's in the Heights, and I actually got a chance to see your show twice when you put it on. So the filming that you'll be showing at the Aurora Chapel, that's similar. So if people missed your first show, they can come and see this. And I thought it was great. I thought it was like a gaggle of laughs and a ball of fun. And I think it's just perfect for the holiday season when we can hit those dips or we want to be in community and just get to know some good people, because I feel like everybody who went to your show was really welcoming. Really good vibes and inviting, you know? So I imagine that's probably who will show up for the next space. So if you're out and about in the Heights, local to Houston, we recommend checking out Margot's show December 21st, and check out our website for more things if you can't make it. Thank you for supporting this podcast, and fellow artists, stay in community and stay well. Bye.
Bye.